Welcome to Flip Lesson 114 for the 6th grade as we look at what's known as unit multipliers. Unit multipliers is a concept that really helps us understand where our labels come from and how we get our labels as we progress through a conversion. Now, as we look at labels, while converting is not really a new idea, understanding the labels can be a little tricky at first, but when taken into consideration, when you look at the labels just as another variable, then a lot of it makes more sense. For example, we see convert 60 feet to yards. All right? So in your mind, the first thing you want to think is, okay, if I want to convert feet to yards, I need to know how many feet are in a yard. Right? And so I'm going to pull out this idea is that I know that 1 yard equals 3 feet. Okay, so I know that already. Okay, and right here I've already strategically placed my yards up top and my feet down bottom. All right, because I know that if I wanted to solve that idea, right, I would need to take my 60 feet and I would need to divide it by 3. We understand that process already. We've been using that for a long time. But once we're done with this, now we've really created two fractions, right? Two fractions that can be multiplied, and we can really use our conversion right here, right? Our 1 and 1 aren't going to make a difference, but I can take this 3 and I can take it out of this 60, right? So I'm reducing already, so I'm at 20 now, right? But I still have these labels. I still have yards, I still have feet, I still have feet. Right? And if I take yards times feet, I'm going to get yard feet, whatever that is. Right? And if I take feet times nothing, I'm going to get feet. And so technically, if I go across this multiplication problem, I'm going to end up with yard feet, 20 yard feet divided by 1 yard foot. 1 foot, excuse me. But in this case, what we really want to do is we can take our labels and use them as variables also. And so because I have feet here, right, I can cross and I can eliminate those feet. And so in the end, right, 1 yard times 20 equals 20 yards, right? And the 3 became a 1, and the foot we eliminated, and the 1, and so really you're left with over 1. I have no idea what that is. YDR, right? And in the end, we'd simplify it to just 20 yards. Right? So dealing with labels in that sense. Now sometimes things get much bigger, right? We get different types of problems, such as converting gallons into pints. And in the past, we probably would have taken this step by step by step by step and gone through this process. But now that we understand that labels can work the same as numbers, we can really just set up one big equation and eliminate all the things that are repeating much, much faster. Right? So I'm starting with 4 gallons right here. Starting with 4 gallons, right? And I want it to be pints in the end, right? So I got pints over here because that's what I want to end with. So now I need to understand my conversion rates, right? Gallons, right? If I want to get rid of my gallons here, I need to get rid of gallons, right? And it's important because I need to take that gallons and I need to understand, well, how many gallons are into the next step down, which is quarts, right? There are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. And suddenly, right, our gallons are gone. So now we're left with 4 times 4 quarts times, and right, we're looking for an answer of pints, right? As we look at pints, we also know that 2 pints equals 1 quart, right? So we have this fraction right here. And suddenly, right, we can take our quarts and we can get rid of our quarts. And all of a sudden, when we look up and we take a look at our problem, right, the only label we're left with is pints. And now we just got to do our multiplications. 4 times 4 times 2, so 16 times 2, which gives us an answer of 32 pints. Because 1 times 1 times 1, it's going to be, of course, 1. And so we have that unit conversion. So the idea here is to use this formula, this process, to write all of our conversions, however many conversions we have, 3, 4, right? And just cross things out and get to an answer really in a much faster way, rather than doing step 1, doing all the calculations, step 2, doing all the calculations, step 3, doing all the calculations. We can do it really as one big step instead of 3 little steps in that sense. All right, there's your sample problem, and that's lesson 114.